Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club, your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online. G'day, I'm Fletch, and while I'm in Lismore, New South Wales, I thought I'd bring you a bit of a shed crawl. Well, not a bit of a shed crawl, all of a shed crawl, featuring some of the members from the Trojans Rod Custom Club in this week's Classic Restos on the Road. Well, it's going to be a bit of a wham-bam thank you ma'am as we make our way through. First cab off the rank, shed belongs to Rick, an old hot rodder from way back. He does his own work, and this is the man cave where the action happens. Moving on through, how cool is this? Good morning, Rick.
Good morning. How are you today, Fletch?
I'm great, mate. Yourself?
Oh, top of the world, if I could breathe.
You feel? How are you feeling?
I'm okay, yeah. As the day goes on, it gets better. Yeah. But it's all good.
You've got the best therapy in the world. You got your family over there. You've got your hot rods here in the shed. I don't think things could get much better for you.
No, a couple more hot rods wouldn't hurt.
See, he keeps the tradition going.
Fill it up a bit more, you know.
Now, Rick, you're a hot rodder from way back. Now, you're the president of the Trojans Rod Custom Club. Yes. How long have you been the president for?
Since day one, 16 years now.
Yeah. Let's talk about the car you're leaning on, 1927 T.
27 T Roadster.
Tell us about that, Rick.
It's a fibre-glass body, but it's powered by 302 Windsor. And C4 auto. It's got 2 4-barrels on it. A hell of a lot of work done to the engine.
Makes for a powerful go-kart.
A very powerful go-kart, considering it only weighs sort of about 750 kilo.
Hot rods are fun. There's just no doubt about that. They're fun all day long, aren't they? And there's so much, as we've mentioned before, and this is what the hot rods stand for. There's no such thing as one hot rod. Every single hot rod is different in some way.
Different. They're all individuals.
Being a Ford man, Rick, and you love your Windsors, like the 289s, 302s, 351s. Is there a favourite that you have there amongst them?
Well, not really a favourite. I mean, they're all good in their own right. But I'm sticking with 302 in this one because it fits.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong with a little 5 litre.
Nothing wrong with it, no.
Okay, now modifications when you do the modifications does it just come to you? I mean, obviously you get your inspiration from other people as well.
A lot of it goes back to early 60s and 50s hot rod magazines and just following stuff like that. Yeah. And we always strive to do what the magazine looks like, but we realise later that we're building to a magazine. Our stuff comes out better a little bit, not so much mine, but in general, you know.
There's been a few episodes done at Queenscliff down in Victoria, not far from Geelong in the past. They have a fantastic hot rod show down there each year. And it's magnificent to see so many hot rods turn up in one spot. But also the history of hot rodding, starting, of course, back in the United States of America, where there were guys with no money that went to junkyards and bought old cars. And it just went from there, didn't it?
Yeah, end of the war. Guys come back with a whole bunch of money that didn't know where to put it. Wanted to go racing.
Well, Rick, it's been a pleasure catching up with you. It's a pretty quick episode, this one, as we make our way through. Love what you've done here. Love your shed, your workshop. To think you turn up here every day, and you don't have far to come from home either, do you?
No, it's about 9k out, but it's a 10-minute drive.
Yeah. Well, good on you, Rick. Well, you take care of yourself.
You too, Fletch. Thanks very much.
That's all right. Well, it's obvious the apples don't fall far from the tree. How are you, Toni?
I'm doing great, Fletch.
That's wonderful. I can tell you're the daughter of Rick.
I definitely am, yes.
What was it like as a little kid growing up around the environment of hot rods?
It was always good, actually. I mean, the whole hot rodding fraternity is like one big happy family. So it doesn't matter if you're getting together with, 3 or 4 people with cars or 300 or 400 people with cars. Everyone knows everybody else, and everyone looks after everybody else.
You're the coolest kid on the block here with this 40 Ford pickup. It's a beautiful looking truck.
Well, thank you. I made it myself.
Okay, now tell us what you did.
Well, actually, I had an idea of what I wanted. I started with a steering wheel, and
Got to start somewhere, I guess. Did it have a horn button?
it didn't actually. That's on the side. So I proceeded to just collect pieces from all over the place, and everywhere from sort of Moorumba to Mariba to Yarralla, and then finally got enough pieces together, and this is the outcome.
And sourcing the parts too. I mean, that can be exciting in itself too, can't it? Because it's treasure chest stuff. You don't know what you're going to find.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And like I said, the hot rodding fraternity is one big happy family. So if you're looking for something, you put the word out, and people always find what you need. So that's good.
What powers it up front?
It's got a 351 Cleveland motor, so it's got a Ford in a Ford, which doesn't happen very often these days.
351, the big Clevo, eh?
Yes, definitely. She goes very well.
Yeah, they do. They do. Very torquey. They're a great engine. There's nothing wrong with the old Clevo.
Yeah, that's it. It's got a mild cam in it as well, C4 auto. And yeah, she goes very, very, very nice.
And a Holden diff.
Yes, yes.
It's always, I had to say that. It was always, because the 9-inch diff goes in a lot of things, doesn't it? Yeah.
Very much so, yes.
Love the interior of the truck. You've got the dashboard painted the same colour, and the gauges are just nice, the door trims are nice, and the way the doors close, you've got those adjusted to perfection.
We try our best. We try our best, definitely. So, yeah, no, it does take a lot of effort to get everything to line up here and there, but, yeah, we got it in the end.
Now, before I let you go, from the heart, describe the experience of when you're driving this truck, when it's just you and the truck out on the road.
That's probably what I like best of all, actually, sitting in the truck that I made, out there by myself on the road without any interruptions. But, I guess, I don't know, it fills your heart up, and, when you feel that engine roaring, all the way through you, it's amazing.
Thanks again, Toni. It's been wonderful catching up with you.
No, it's been fantastic, Fletch. Thank you.
Time now for Janelle on today's show with her amazing standard 1953 Buick sedan. Janelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Fletch.
How do you fit in with a traditional Ford family with your Buick?
Let's just call it I'm a little bit unique and different in the fact that I love rods, but I like my classics. So.
I don't think anybody will take that away from you. This Buick is beautiful. We look at that big, bold dash that Buick always did so well. Into the modernism era, end of Art Deco, but you can see some of the die-cast features there coming through from the late 30s, that old traditional style still there.
It is, and the steering wheel, I love the steering wheel and the dash, and I've kept that basic as well. So it's still under 6-volt battery. May change, but yeah, basically, yeah, I just love the old spirit in it.
Now, powering the big girl up front, what have we got going on there? I think I know, but you can tell us about it.
The original straight 8 motor is still in the vehicle.
How does it perform for a car like this?
It's like you wish it would take off a little bit faster, but when you do, it's smooth, and it's like it's serene, and it's cruisy. It's like cruising. I like the feel of a cruisy car.
And back in 1953, taking off like that, you would have been ahead of most other cars around you.
Yeah, basically you would be. So yeah.
And that's the thing we've got to keep in perspective. It's things have changed, but life was slower too. I think the expectations of a vehicle were less well, not so much less, but they had less to compare to. In the day, in 1953, if you had a straight 8 Buick, you had a well-powered vehicle.
Yeah, you certainly did. And look, you can only imagine the roads and things back then as well. So I love cruising.
Janelle, thanks again, and take care of this lovely Buick, hey?
Thank you. Thank you, Fletch.
Like Dad, I've always been a Ford man. The Falcon Squire wagon was unloved in 1964, but turns heads today. The Americans call them woodies, but the panelling, it's just fibre-glass and plastic. But it's a passion that Shannons understands, which is why my Fords are insured with Shannons. And now, so's the home.
Call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
When it comes to cars, there are some brands that will remain with us forever, no matter what. The Holden was always Australia's own car, held high in the hearts of many. Those lines, that chrome, the stories around them, and the people that owned them. From the classic through to the final, you can still trust in genuine Holden and AC Delco parts, available through the Holden Certified Service Network. Welcome to picturesque Lismore, New South Wales, Australia, residing in the Northern Rivers region of the state, home to an urban population of around 29,000 people. On the banks of the Wilson River, after you awake to a Lismore sunrise, there's just so much to see and do around the region. The tranquility of the rainforest, to the amazing sacred site of Nimbin Rocks, or perhaps a bushwalk taking in Minion Falls Nightcap National Park. Or maybe the spectacular border ranges is more your style, to a leisurely stroll through Lismore Main Street. Lismore has something for everyone. Lismore awaits you. Visit lismore.com.au. Welcome back. Welcome to location number 2 for the second shed crawl on today's show. Let's go. Welcome to the second Trojans shed, with Rick's being the first. This shed is taken care of by Bruce and Steve. Where Rick's shed is where work and building happens, this shed is more the showroom and memorabilia shed. It's a hangout for the club members to work on their cars, come along for lunch or simply have a chat. These are the places that are so important for a lot of people. Today's stresses can be mostly eliminated by those who visit to unwind, relax and enjoy what's in here. There's an amazing kitchen area, some hot rods of course, some endless stuff hanging around off the roof trusses, and mostly all set up to create a welcoming family environment.
This shed's been here for many years, but we took it over about 3.5 years ago, and it's a hot rod clubhouse for the Trojans Hot Rod Club, and the members have lunch here, and we use it as a museum and a little workshop here in South Lismore. Well, the memorabilia on the walls, all the flags and the hubcaps and the bikes and the crazy things, different people contributed them, and we collect them like a lot of the guys do in all their sheds, all the man caves, and we like to find treasures if we can and put them on the walls. The cars that we have in here, we have a red 48 Chevy coupe, a full American imported body. It has a 253 Holden motor, a Trimatic gearbox. It has a disc brake rear end, and it has a disc brake front end. And that's Steve, and his wife owns that. Steve's my other partner in the shed here. Steve owns the this orange, beautiful 33 Chevy Touring. It's got a fully stroked 383 heavy Chevy, we'll call it, and it's got a 700R gearbox and a Warner rear end and disc brake front end, and beautiful orange, incredible orange paint. My car, Bruce's car, is a crazy car. It's a Area 51 American staff car, as a joke, with bullet holes in it and all sorts of crazy army paraphernalia. And it's meant to be a bit of a cartoon on wheels, and the kids love it, the mums and dads love it. It's a good car for fetes and festivals. It's got a 350 Chevy, an R700 4-speed gearbox, disc brakes, everything. It's all modern, done 40,000 kilometres in it. And we have Toni Pacey's EH Holden station wagon here. That's her and her friend Frank are doing that up, and it's actually Frank's car. And so they're part of our workshop here as well. Yeah, well, our club is a very diverse club with, it's a hot rod club, but we also have customs and classic cars accepted in the club. There's older people, younger people, hot rods 1928 to 1968, we'll say, that's our club. And so there's a lot of diversity and many different age groups. That we're very family orientated, and we have grandkids and uncles and aunties, and each family in the club, it's not just one or two people, it's quite a whole family. And the Trojans Hot Rod Club it's like it's a tribe. It's actually a tribe. Yeah, well, the different varieties of hot rods that we have, you might have one with pretend bullet holes and white wall tyres, and then I want really low down and cut down very low and channeled and chopped and channeled and things like that. Some of them have very old-fashioned engines like flatheads. They call a flathead Ford engine, and they got little fins and things on them, and then others will have a big modern LS Chevy motor, and we've got Jethro's in our club. He's got a 46 DeSoto that's going to be the most radical car, and this is an incredibly unique car. It's chopped and sectioned and channeled, but it's fully got all new Monaro LS3 and 6-speed gearbox and disc brakes. It's going to look like something out of a movie. It's going to be a one-off custom, but that's probably one of the most radical cars we've got in the club. But the cars themselves are, each one's a unique creation, and some are built by the club, others are purchased and have come into the club, and then they're remodified after they've been purchased, and that's what we have with these two behind me here, which is the orange 33 and the red 48 Chevy, and mine as well. But yeah, I just thank Rick Pacey, my friend of 50 years. Rick's the president, and I was 17 when I met him. I'll be 70 in a month or two, and there's a lot of the people in the Hot Rod Club have known each other for 50 years. Jethro, who you're going to see soon, he's known Rick for 50 years. I've known Rick for 50 years. Got other members in the club. So it's well entrenched, and a lot of our associate clubs are same era, in people from 65 to 75 years old, and we've all known each other for 50 years. It's quite amazing, really. There we go. That's the second shed here of the Trojans, and maybe you've learnt something about us and about our cars, and we're really glad to welcome you here today, and all the best to everybody. Thank you.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannons, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
They may not be making the classic Holden anymore, but the legacy lives on. You can still have a Holden certified service using genuine Holden and AC Delco quality parts at over 180 centres across Australia. Go to holden.com.au to find your nearest centre. Book your Holden in, maintain the pride. Whether you have a classic bike, a classic car, hot rod or a classic truck, make sure it's insured with Shannons. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646. And keep in mind too that the Shannons Club awaits you with their own in-house productions, such as Shannons Club TV, Legends of Motorsport, Driven, End of an Era. You can catch classic Restos there as well, along with a host of other really cool stuff down as Australia's largest automotive online hub. For more information, visit shannons.com.au. Welcome back. Here we go. Location number 3 for today's show as we do the shed crawl. Just on the other side of Lismore. This is pretty different. We've got a pub on this side, and we got the door to Jethro's shed just here. Yeah, he doesn't have to walk far to get home. Let's go check out Jethro, see what he's up to. Here we go, into Jethro's shed. How you doing this afternoon, mate?
Good, thanks, Fletch. Yeah.
That's good. Thank
you, mate.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problems, yeah.
Now, Jethro, this is almost like a home away from home, right? And you live next door to the pub. Tell us the story there.
The pub was handy. See, I own this building, so it was very handy to own a building next to a pub with some room that I can work on my cars and stuff like that.
How good is that? You've got plenty of space here, and obviously you've got a good reputation for some pretty cool stuff. The blue hot rod beside us, we're going to start with this one here. Tell us the story there.
Well, Fletch, this is my first hot rod. Then we built this from scratch, myself and Rick Pacey, who you seen earlier today, over at Rick's shed over there, because I never had here at the time.
What a cool guy he is.
Isn't he? Yeah, perfect, yeah. Yep. And to have him help me build this, or I wouldn't have been able to do it. I wouldn't have been able to build such a nice car for a start.
This is very cool, being a two-door car, and the doors are a good size too for this era, for a two-door car as well.
They are. They're nice and wide. I think, don't know whether it's because it's the sedan delivery or not.
A lot of the early cars, though, particularly in the 30s and 40s as well, though, Jethro, like even in the rear, we all knew how good the leg room was in the rear of some of those cars. So they really had size in mind, you know, easy to get in, easy to get out. Maybe a little bit ahead of their time there.
Well, probably ahead of their time. I think that a lot of things they used on the old days have sort of come good again, you know.
Getting back to the hot rod scene, it's the combinations that can be adapted to the build of the car. You can do the same obviously with cars. You might stick more to the traditional models, but it's everywhere with hot rods. And there's no set plan. It's almost too like the fun that the Volkswagen fraternity have with their DACs. They can do anything to those cars and have fun with them. And it kind of reminds me of the hot rod scene a little bit like that as well.
Yeah, well, see, like I say, I was in the bike scene before that, you know, and it was the same with that. You know, I sell brand new Harleys. And once you sell it off the showroom floor, it's their bike and they individualise it, you know. And you can go to a bike show and look at hundreds of bikes and never see two the same.
Now, Jethro, inside the interior, I like what you've done. What are the seats out of?
They're VT Commodore.
The dashboard looks good too. I just love that, the opulence you've done along there. It's got some class about it.
Yeah, well, it's a 32 dash, but it's got the dip, you know, the vinyl dip, I think it's called, in the English walnut.
What's to our right? What are you doing there?
That is a 1946 DeSoto four-door sedan. I first come across it, two people, the person before I actually bought it off, I went under his house, seen it there and I said, mate, you've got to do something with that, you know. And then I knew he hadn't, so I went back there to buy it and I said, where is he? He said, I've sold it, you know. So I went round to the guy he'd sold it to as a mate of mine. And I said, Steve, I've been trying to buy that. He said, it's yours, you know, buy it. Yeah. So I've been building that nearly as long as the 32.
A bit of gear up front there. Got the 6.2 litre, the LS3.
Yeah, it's a HSV LS3. I bought that with all the matching. I got all the matching computers and radiator and gearbox, the 8-speed automatic gearbox and that.
What happened to the car that came out of?
Someone turned it upside down.
That'll do it.
That'll do it, yes, and that did it. I'm hoping to get the body back. As you see, I haven't got the body here. I've got the front clip there, which we've made...
that's the front clip over there, is it?
The front clip off it. And it's, as you can see, it's all welded up, so it's actually a full tilt front end.
Jethro, I think it's great you've got that group of people around you in the hot rod fraternity. Help each other out. You can work things out, solve things, design things. That's brilliant.
Yep, that's one of the great things about it. It's like a brotherhood, you know, you're all mates. And if you need something done, if they can't do it, they might know someone who can, if you want a part, you know.
On that note, Jethro, thank you so much for allowing Classic Restos into your shed here this afternoon, complete with our courtesy live music just across there about 8 or 9 metres away. It's been quite entertaining, mate.
I'm sorry it's not Jimmy Barnes, but you know.
No, they've all got to start somewhere.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Keep up your great work, mate. Love your shed. I love the 32 sedan delivery. What you're doing here, that's going to be a very interesting bit of gear, mate. So, all right. And you take care of yourself.
No worries. Thanks, mate. Good to meet you, Fletch.
You too, Jethro.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you really enjoyed this week's episode of Classic Restos, filmed once again in Lismore, New South Wales. A great opportunity to catch up with hot rod legend Rick and his two daughters, Toni and Janelle, with their cars today. Then crossing over to Bruce, representing the shed for the Trojans Club. Then later in the day, the fantastic hot rod work here with Jethro and his shed. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next week, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club, your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online.